All right, here on PunchTheFace.com, we're joined by Jesse Finney. He is the head honcho over at Shamrock FC. Jesse, how you doing here this evening?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to talking to you guys, and it's going to be good.
Well, absolutely. Now, for those who don't know, let's start off with this. You were a former fighter yourself who turned promoter, but you're also a consultant during that time as well. What in the world made you stay in this crazy world of mixed martial arts after being a fighter and then transitioning to a full-time promoter? Why in the world do this? Because this is a crazy business we're part of.
Well, I've been in the fight game my whole life. I mean, my stepfather was Robert Biggs. He fought Bill Wallace in White World Sports back in the 80s. And so, I've been in the fight game my whole life, literally. And so I got into, played baseball growing up, and I was fighting in amateur boxing, amateur kickboxing, and then I decided to take a stab at this probably when I was 22 years old and started in kickboxing, really. And then transitioned from kickboxing into mixed martial arts. I was trained a bunch of professional MMA guys, and they pretty much talked me into it, really, because, I guess this was 98, 97, I was actually my first amateur fight, and, this was, it was crazy back then, and basically, these guys were, talked me into it, were like, hey, listen, you're a good athlete, you've got a lot of kickboxing experience, a lot of boxing experience, why don't you do this? And, I almost took it on like a dare almost, and I did well with it in the amateur ranks, and I got into pro ranks, and I went 6-1, and I fought with Strikeforce for a while, and then in 2010, Strikeforce was acquired by UFC. UFC did not pick my contract up, so I ended up fighting Josh Neer. After that, I actually, the company that I went with said, hey, listen, find a fight that you really think will be a good fight for you, and I thought Josh Neer would be a good fight. Not being as good of a fight as I had hoped, so only one guy I thought was just staying right in the middle of the cage and trade the whole time, and Josh ended up taking me down like 3 different times and submit me, but hey, I decided just to turn the page, really, because, I had 3 gyms at one time and over 150 employees, and we were doing, 8 or 10 shows a year at that time, and basically, I was the last one getting any attention, so at the end of the day, I was training a bunch of guys. So it was one of those situations where I had to make a choice, and I really wanted to try to be in the big leagues at 30, I was 35 at the time, 36 years old, and I was lucky enough that I had started a few businesses at a very young age, and I thought, you know what, hey, listen, I didn't want to be the guy sitting on the couch, and I wish I would have, so I got that out of my system and went into promoting pretty much full time, and haven't looked back since, and it's been quite a journey, and I love it. A lot of people, it's a tough game. I'll be the first to tell you that, but we've been lucky enough to succeed and make smart business moves, and we haven't, went out there and bought our way on the TV and went out and spent a ton of money like a lot of other organizations have, and lost a ton of money because I'm the owner. It's not like there's 8 or 10 investors. I've had people try to invest before. Not really interested in having a whole lot of partners at this time. So right now we just keep doing what we're doing, chugging along, and slow and steady wins the race. And obviously our foot's been on the gas pedal the last couple of years. So we're looking to take it to the next level and just keep pushing forward.
Now, during this time, that you've, like you said, as Shamrock FC has grown and is building a buzz here in the Midwest region and nationwide for that matter, have you ever gotten the itch personally yourself to get back in the cage while promoting and seeing these guys and maybe particularly seeing a fight and be like, you know what, I could take this guy? Has that itch ever come back? Has that competitive nature came back to you at all?
I'd be a liar to tell you that it hasn't. At this time, it's just unrealistic. Does it ever go like, man, I know I can beat this guy. I know I can beat that type of guy. I know I can beat this guy. Yeah, it still does. I'm not going to lie to you. But I also look back and go, but when are you really going to train? Like, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. Building a house. I've got over 100-some employees at this point still. And, I only have 1 gym now instead of 3. So it's kind of like, man, there is just absolutely no time that we could do something like that. Like, I still train on occasion, just because I love the sport. But do I think that I'm going to actually get back in? No, there's probably not much of a chance. When I got out, I actually had eye surgery. I had some eye problems, and then my teeth I had like 4 fake teeth, three fake teeth, and 1 chip. So I had some crowns put on, and like really, one of my eyes was drooping, so I had to get it sewed back up pretty good. So I think that was from many years. I had elbow surgery. I got everything fixed, like really within like 6 months, and that's when I was like, okay, well I'm done. Did about $15,000 in my own pocket in surgery, and I was like, all right, I'm done. So they kind of like officially did it for me. But just sit and ask, do I still have the urge? Yeah, absolutely, I still have the urge. I mean, there's a couple guys that I would love to fight, but it's not in the cards at this point.
Well, I can respect that you've said, you know what, enough's enough. But hey, after $15,000 out of your own pocket, I can definitely understand where you say, you know what, I don't want to invest any more surgery. So I completely get that. Now, with Shamrock FC, like I said, you guys are building a buzz, especially for the last couple of years. You're doing events in both Kansas City and St. Louis, and really generating a lot of great energy and producing young stars, guys that are prospects. Why is it so important for Shamrock FC to have this placement here in the amongst the other MMA promotions? Because we see a lot within the sport, and we see a lot come and go. But you guys are not only still here after years, but you're actually building and growing. What do you kind of chalk up to that success and that business model that you guys are doing right now?
Well, I think that we're not over budgeting on shows, and I feel like we're not over budgeting. I think when people hear that you're gonna have a Shamrock FC show, they know what type of show it's gonna be. They know it's gonna be first class. They know we're gonna have to provide entertainment. They know that it's a place where you can bring your kids, you can bring your families, and it's a safe environment. We don't do the. Don't take this the wrong way, but we don't do the $10 ticket. We don't do a $20 ticket, and we do a higher dollar ticket with probably 1,500 people. So we're not trying to go for the 4,000 or 5,000 people. We try to stay consistent around 1,500 people. We try to keep the ticket value up, so you don't get a lot of riffraff. And I think that when we do that, we invest back into the sport. We do a 6-camera shoot, all in HD. We provide probably $15,000 to $1,000 in light and sound, and we do it right. So it's not like just okay, yeah, we're gonna have fights, and we're gonna it's gonna be here, and there's gonna be good fights and no entertainment. We keep the shows rolling. We stream all our shows live on the internet. We just got to deal with Time Warner up in Kansas City, actually, where you're from, and so that's actually going to be airing this August 8th. So when we invest in this, we invest into more and more. We just bought all new switchers, and we keep reinvesting into the brand. And I think that if you do things like that, I think it's going to come full circle. And we've got the Kansas City's own Bobby Volker fighting on September 26th. So we got guys that have been there forever, and like Bobby Volker. And then we got kids like Joaquin Buckley, who's a superstar, who's 4-0. Not a lot of people know who he is, but they will. He's been on MMA Junkie, in the front page of those guys. He's done a lot of things right now. He's fighting another superstar September 11th, and Kyle Kurtz, who's 4-0. So, we're putting great, intriguing fights on where people are going to enjoy themselves, but we're also making it about the entertainment values. When people, they see the Shamrock brand, they know they're just going to come for the fights, but they also come for the full entertainment of the night.
And that was actually going to bring me to my next question. Is it important not to dumb down that product? Because like you said, so often, and especially in my line of work, we see these smaller shows they'll run the cheaper tickets, and Lord knows the crowd that you'll run into while you're out there at those events. Is it important going forward to make sure that the Shamrock FC product never gets dumbed down to that extension, to where it's watered down, to where it's like every other show? Is that something that you're going to definitely kind of continue at pace?
If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And there's a reason we've been doing this for 17 years, and there's a reason we'll do here another 17 years. Is we're strictly almost at this point a casino-based business. We do shows for the Ritz-Carlton and private events, and then we're doing a show in 2016 for the Four Seasons. So any event we're going to do it first class, and it's going to be done right. And we try to keep it at events where you can bring your family, you can bring your wife, your kids, and you can feel safe. And I will tell you, I shouldn't say never, but I will say we'll never go out and try to do a high school gymnasium and no entertainment value. I feel like you're in the entertainment business. You need to entertain, and it's not just about just a great fight in a cage. And yeah, that's the most important. But you also need to keep the fans interactive and entertained the whole time. And there's a reason. I mean, we were doing in 2000, what is this, 2010 probably. We were doing 4 casino shows a year, and now we're doing 20 plus casino shows this year. Because we work our asses off of the casinos. We really do. Like, we try to make sure that they're entertained, their players are entertained, that we're selling our tickets, we're hustling. Even if it's the deals of the old days where you get a check from the casino and you just walk away. We don't do that. We're partners with the casino, so we're all invested into it. And I'm willing to risk that because I know that with the great partners we have in the casino business, they'll do that for us, and they know that we'll do it. And we got other casinos and that are asking, wanting more business, and I turn them down because we can't do what we're doing right now and keep adding more shows. Now, we're going to add to our payroll, and maybe in the future we will, but as of this time right now, we can't. But I think, 22 shows on your boat 2016 is a lot.
Yeah, that's actually a real solid number in regards to that. Now, that's kind of transitions here to the next question of, when you guys are getting events together and booking fights and finding matchmakers, your matchmakers are doing work, what type of fighters do you like bringing in to your events for that entertainment value? What do you look for as far as a fighter goes? Because I know as a promoter, you always probably have guys from other gyms saying, hey, you got to make sure you check out this guy. He's the next GSP and what have you. And then you get the guy or you see him in a fight, and it's far from that. So what do you guys look for when you're getting a guy on for your cards?
Sure, I think this question might be answered better by saying what we don't look for. What we don't look for is a guy that's going to be a wrestler that's going to lay on somebody and just try to hold them down and do nothing with it. I really like if a kid goes out and he gives 100% and he's not the best striker, but he gives it 100%. Maybe we'll move him down and put him on the first fight of the undercard, and maybe later on down the road, but. We're looking for guys that are going to they're going to know, they're going to go out there, they're going to lay it all on the line, they're going to be exciting, they're going to be respectful, they're going to be on time, they're going to do all the right things to make everybody's life easier. And I think the guys that know how to market themselves, absolutely, I mean, that definitely helps. And be partners with us. I mean, I really look at this and say, we're all partners here. You scratch our backs, guys, we're going to scratch yours, and we're all going to grow this thing together. I feel like, and say, well, how many partners do you have? Well, financially, I have probably about 500 partners because I feel like every fighter that we deal with is a partner. And we continue to, if we can get more guys like that are willing to play ball with us and we play ball with them and try to groom people to move to the next level and get them on national TV and then also live on the internet, I think that's the most important thing. And, we just keep building the brand together because, we keep reinvesting back into the brand.
Now, you said, next year you guys plan on doing 22 shows. What is the plans going forward for Shamrock FC? Maybe 5 years from now, where do you see this promotion being and growing 5 years from today?
I think five years from today is a great question. I think that I say this all the time. I think that we can be we're not going to compete with the UFC. I'm not going to say that. But I think that entertainment value, I think that we compete with anybody in this world. I really do, our shows. And that includes the UFC. I know that's a crazy, bold statement, but if you come to our event, it's 1,500 people instead of 10,000. But the energy that we create in those buildings is phenomenal. So that's number one. Number two, I think in 5 years from now, I think that we will be, I think that we're right there on the cusp of it. I think we're the top AAA. We are, I really feel like we're the top, 5, 10, at least 5 or 7 in AAA teams in the country, and I think that we're doing that, and it's only going to get better. I have people say, "Well, how many shows do you want to do a year?" I want to do 45 shows a year, and I want to do 45 shows a year all across the country. And I think that we're on pace to do something like that. We're looking into Canada, actually, doing shows. We're looking in the Chicago area right now. We were doing shows in Springfield, Illinois. We're in Decatur, Illinois. We're looking still in some of those markets, but basically, if we're also looking in Colorado. So there's a couple. There's a lot of options out there. Indiana, and I think that if we're doing 40 plus, close to 50 shows a year, in the next couple of years, not even 5 years, I think that we'll achieve our goals, and we can help these fighters get to the next level, and they can help us get to the next level. I think that's what it's all about.
Now, Jesse, would you ever be open to possibly co-promoting events with other, I don't want to say regional promotions, but regional promotions? Would you ever be open to, Shamrock FC fighters versus fill-in-the-blank fighters? Would you ever be open to co-promoting a card with anyone, or do you like getting the money all yourself?
Oh no! I mean, I think if you know what, I'm all about a win-win. If it's a win-win for the fighters, and it's a win-win for the fans, and it's a win-win for us, in the business level, it's a win-win for the other promoters. I mean, I'm all about it. I mean, we work hand in hand with Bellator. We did four shows with Bellator. We did one show with Shark Fights in the past. We used to run we did on the operations for the World Combat League. They would subcontract everything out. We just did the Kimbo Slice and King Shamrock here in St. Louis with helping with Bellator. So I mean, we're all about helping each other, and if it can grow and help them, help the fighters, and help us all at the same time, why not? I think it's a no-brainer for everybody.
Absolutely. Now, you've been in the business, like you said, for years now, 20 plus years almost. What are some of the crazier things that you've either seen with your own eyes or had someone possibly ask you, regards to something backstage or at a fight, whether it be promoting, fighting? What's some of the crazier things you've seen or heard throughout your years in mixed martial arts?
Well, I have another interview here in about 30 minutes, so that would probably take about 30 hours if you wanted me to tell you that one. So, where do I start? Like, realistically, I mean, I've had really, it doesn't amaze me. I mean, I can just tell you, like, for example, our matchmakers had some crazier stories because he deals with the fighter directly, more hand in hand. I mean, we had a guy just recently. It was a professional fighter that I can just give you one. And he showed up to weigh-ins. He weighed in, and he comes to the fights, and he's warming up in the back, and he says that God's telling him not to fight, so he's not gonna fight anymore. And this was just a couple months ago. I could tell you stories like that go nonstop. I had a guy show up one time that's 50 pounds overweight, and he blamed it on the scale. And he blamed it on the scale. So there's all kinds of those. I don't like to talk about them because I feel like it dumbs down the sport a little bit. But I mean, like, the bigger we get, I think that less things like that happen. But you gotta remember something at the end of the day. I mean, and this myself included. I mean, what guys go? Okay, I'll wake up in the morning and say, I'm gonna go step in the cage. I'm just gonna go fight people. And I think that you have to be cut from a little bit different cloth to think like that. But I also think that the true martial artists out there understand that it is actually a sport. And I feel like that if I could deal with true martial artists, you can definitely tell when you're talking to a martial arts guy compared to just some guy that got into it, 3 years ago and decides it's going to be a cage fight, right? So I think that people need to realize, man, this is all about martial arts, and I feel like if they can keep the martial arts in mixed martial arts, it's only going to help it long term.
Well, absolutely. Now, one more thing I wanted you to touch on, definitely kind of give a little bit more information in regards to this TV deal with Time Warner Cable, because I know for people here in the Midwest, that's going to be a big deal to where even more eyes will be able to see the Shamrock FC product.
Yeah, we signed a deal with Time Warner Cable, and we actually, for Kansas City, we signed another Time Warner deal up in Ohio. We're working with another organization, another station here in St. Louis that should be announced here locally pretty soon. And then obviously we're streamed live on the internet the night of the fights, and we keep it affordable for everybody. It goes $9.99 to $12.99 depending on the card. So that's big. I mean, it really is. We were working with Comcast Sports out of Philadelphia in California, and I felt like that's great and all, but at the same time, I think that we need to keep it more Midwest regionalized because this is where most of our shows are. And I think that by the end of this year or possibly next year, we'll have a national TV deal, and we'll still be able to broadcast our shows everywhere at that point.
Absolutely. Now, you guys are going to have a mixed martial arts show. If you were going to have a boxing, kickboxing, MMA here on August 15th, and then you're going to have a full MMA show here September 11th. From
September 11th and September 26th.
in September 26th, absolutely. Well, cool. Well,
Four times.
go ahead.
4 times a year we do it. 4 times a year we do it's a quarterly show. We do a mixed show. It's in a boxing ring with a fifth rope. We do professional boxing, professional mixed martial arts, and professional kickboxing, glory style rules. We do that 4 times a year in the St. Louis area, and it's a hybrid card, and extreme fight night is what we call it. And it's been a big success, and I think people like it. It switches things up for instead of just all MMA all the time. I mean, it's something different, and I enjoy it.
Well, we call those kind of cards gumbo cards, and nothing's better than a good bowl of gumbo. So those are kind of sometimes the best cards to watch because you're going to get a mixture of everything where somebody may be familiar with boxing but not so much kickboxing, or familiar with kickboxing and not so much MMA, and they can get it all in one place and get educated on all 3 formats. So those are sometimes the best cards.
Absolutely, and I think what you just said at the end is the key. Like, that is the reason that we do this, is because I feel like there's so many boxing fans out there that just absolutely despise MMA, and I feel like there's so many MMA fans that just despise boxing. And we don't get into the boxing realm to become to find the next champion boxer in the world. Yeah, we do that in mixed martial arts. Yes, we do that in kickboxing, but we don't do it in the boxing world. I try to tell guys, like, listen, in the boxing world, what I feel has really hurt the boxing world is everyone's going to get the W. You can't worry about the loss. I'll take a kid that's 6'6" will fight his heart out all day long, that's going to go fight for 4 rounds, than a guy that's 27-1 that won't fight anybody. That's looking for another W. And that's the type of boxing show we put on. We try to put on good, hard matchups. Sometimes their MMA guys are just going to box and just improve their boxing for mixed martial arts as well. But if they lay it all out there for 4 rounds, we'll have them back. When there's a draw, it doesn't matter on the record.
Well, cool. Absolutely. Well, Jesse, let the people know where they can keep tabs on Shamrock FC as far as the website goes and any social media outlets.
Absolutely. Our ShamrockFC.com is our website. You can check us out. You can check me out on Facebook.com. You'll have to give me a Twitter handle because Brian just changed it. It's Shamrock _ FC. I think it is. You have to put that. You have to help me out there on that one.
Okay.
I'm not real familiar with everything, but you can follow me on Facebook as well. And man, I like to interact with the fans. So if there's anything anybody wants to ask or whatever, I'll be more than happy. And just come check out the shows. I mean, and I tell people this all the time. If you're coming from over 90 miles away and you can prove you're coming from 90 miles away just to come to a Shamrock show, hit me up. I'll maybe do Viking works with the casino. They will do for buy 2 tickets and get 1 free just because you're coming to check out a Shamrock show.
Well, absolutely. Well, we're definitely going to be covering a lot more of Shamrock FC here on PunchTheFace.com. I plan on being in the event here in Kansas City here in September, and the Twitter handle is Shamrock_FC. So follow Shamrock FC on Twitter. It's Shamrock_FC. So we'll definitely be covering a lot more of this and seeing this product build and grow. And that's what we're about here at PunchTheFace.com. We like seeing the positive of combat sports, not so much the negative, because there's a lot of that out there anymore. And Jesse, you're putting on a lot of positive things out there with Shamrock FC, and we love that. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I love to talk to you guys anytime you want, and appreciate the good vibes, and let's just keep it rolling.
Absolutely. Well, we'll definitely be checking out what you guys have to offer at Shamrock FC going forward. And best of luck, Jesse.
Thanks, sir. Have a great evening.